Welcome to G Tips Beauty, where we serve you glam on a silver platter. Hey glam babes, we are back with another nail tutorial, and I am super excited to show you guys how I did this beautiful duck nail set. I think it is so cute. It's a short set, and I'm not really a fan of short sets, but because this was a duck shaped set, it turned out so cute. Like, it almost turned out like a wider tapered square almost, but like it turned out so cute that I will probably do duck sets for short sets if I'm wanting to do a short set, just because I don't like how short tapered square to short coffin, short stiletto, short any nails look on my hands. But I freaking love the duck set shape on the nails. So like, that was so cute. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you guys what I did and how I did and how I do what I do. So as you see, I am prepping the nail. I'm pushing my cuticles back to, oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Wrong. Let me say that right. Because, like I said, even though this is YouTube, we want to use the correct terminology. We don't want to get out here and just say anything and teach just anything. So we're pushing the eponychium back, which is the live skin that you see, that if you cut or nip, it'll make your client bleed and she'll cry and she'll never work with you again, probably. So you push your eponychium back to expose the cuticle. The cuticle is going to be that dead skin. That's that white area. It always looks different, more lighter or more whiter than any other part of the nail or any skin around the nail. That's going to identify your cuticle. And you're going to remove that part. You're going to remove all that cuticle, all that dead skin up under the eponychium. So definitely push the eponychium back to expose the cuticle, because a lot of the cuticle hides up under the eponychium as well. So go ahead and push that cuticle back with that cuticle pusher, and then I'm going to take my cuticle bit, my ceramic bit, to go in and to remove all that cuticle, all that dead skin. This is how I prep the nail. Then I go in with my alcohol to remove all the dust and debris. Then I also go in my acetone to dehydrate the nail to remove any oils or moisture that could be remaining on my nail bed. Remember, when you dehydrate, this usually only lasts for about 30 minutes. So I go back and I dehydrate again and again, as many times as you need to. Like, go back and dehydrate again. Like, it's okay. As long as you, at the end of the service, you go in and you apply your cuticle oil, and you're advising your client to apply his or her cuticle oil daily to ensure that all the moisture and oil that you did remove from the nail eventually finds its way back into the nail, so that you have nice strong nails, right? So as long as you're advising of how to properly maintain your nail and how to properly keep your nails hydrated and moisturized, it's totally okay to dehydrate the nail again, because those moistures, they're going to start to return back to the nail within about 30 minutes. So whether you're dehydrating or you're applying your primer, always remember that if you're not moving on to work, if you're not planning on working on that nail within about 30 minutes or so, don't apply that primer yet. You can dehydrate it, you can take the alcohol and remove all the dust, all that good stuff, but to save yourself money and to not waste your product, if you're not working on that nail within 30 minutes or really within about 10-20 minutes, don't even apply primer to it yet. Like, just wait until you're ready to get to that nail, because all the hard work that you're going to do, you're going to have to do it again. So don't even worry about that. Okay, so now once you've got everything all etched and good to go, that's when you can start to go in and to apply your glue to the nail tip, and then gently place the nail tip on your client's nail. You don't want to put too much glue, because you don't really want glue running all over the sides, but you want to put enough glue so that the nail tip doesn't pop off, especially because after we apply the nail tip, we are going to go in with our file again to file the side walls and kind of give us a little bit more of a crisp shape before we apply the acrylic. So you definitely don't want to put too much glue, but you want to put enough glue, because you don't want it to pop off, or you don't want to have to reapply the nail tip after it pops off, and then you're looking crazy in front of your client and she's looking at you like, girl, you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know how to glue the nail tip onto my finger. And you're like, yes, I do. I've done this plenty of times, but I just keep putting too much glue, right? And then you start freaking out, and then she starts freaking out, and then they never want to book with you again. So don't do that, because you want people to book with you again. You don't want to nip people's skin and then they start bleeding, and then they block you, and then no, you don't want that. And then you also don't want to put too much glue on people's fingers, and then fingers start sticking together. You start causing unnecessary allergic reactions. You start gluing the nail tip to everything but your client's nail. Y'all, I hate when this happens. You end up gluing the nail tip to your finger, you glue it to your client's finger, you glue it on crooked, and maybe it just falls off. But everything happens other than what's supposed to happen. So we're going to try to avoid all of that by any means necessary, because when we're sitting down with our clients, we want to look professional. We want to look like we know what what we're doing. We don't want to look like we're stumbling all over stuff, stumbling all over our desk. We're knocking stuff over, knocking over the bottles of glue. The nail tip is stuck to the client's hand. She's freaking out. You're freaking out. Everybody's freaking out. And it's just a bad service before we even started laying acrylic. We don't want that. So make sure you put a little bit of glue, but enough glue. Not too much glue, but enough glue. And what you can also do is, if you apply the nail tip and you find that you could have used just a little bit more glue, just add a little bit more. Too little is a lot better than too much. It's always easier to go back and add more. It's always much more easier to go back and add more than it is to go back and remove when you add too much. So definitely keep that in mind. Whether you're laying acrylic, glue, gel polish, all that good stuff, whatever type of medium you're using, it's always better to go in with too little and apply more than to go in with too much and have to remove whatever you just applied. So keep that in mind. Next, I am etching the nail tip into my natural nail, and I'm also going in with my side walls to file those a little bit more as well, because you want to use a bigger nail tip than your client's nail. You want the whole nail tip to cover from sidewall to sidewall, and sometimes when you upsize the nail tip, it's too big. That happens, right? But you're not going to go to the smaller sides because it's going to pop off. You're going to file it. You're going to file those nail sides so that it fits perfectly for your client, because it's not really one size fits all, right? Even when you're sculpting using forms, nothing is ever one size fits all to anybody's nail. So you have to file it and you have to manipulate it so that it's perfect for your unique and individual client. That's what makes you an artist. Other than creating and offering this magnificent service, turning something into nothing, but that attention to detail, that attention to uniquely uniforming to your specific client, that's what's going to set you apart from everybody else. Like, your client's not walking around with these big old blocks on their hands. They literally have nails that fit unique to their nail bed, unique to their nail shape. So always go in after you apply that nail tip and file the side walls to ensure that the nail tip itself is not bigger than your client's actual nail bed. It definitely wants to be a uniform look. When you turn the nail to the side, looking at it from a bird's eye view, you want to have a uniform look from where the side wall kind of stops to where the nail tip begins and flows. Here's a pro tip for all my pro glam babes. Put the weight on your pinky finger. Whether you're polishing, using your e-file, holding your regular file, whatever you're doing, use your pinky finger to support your hands. If you don't know, pick up your e-file right now and try to file your other nail. How you hold your e-file, you see your pinky right there, use your pinky to support that nail. Either put it up under the nail to support it, either put it up under your handpiece, but use your pinky. Use your pinky to support it. Your pinky is going to be your life raft when using your e-file, to avoid it doing them little spinny circles around the client's finger and to avoid any nipping or cutting like that. So use your e-file. What I'm also doing now is I'm just testing out the colors of my acrylic to see if they all look good together. A lot of times clients, they're going to ask you to do freestyle sets, or they're going to sit in your chair and tell you to do whatever. I keep a color wheel near me so that I can always see what colors look good together. I always go back to my color wheel when I'm picking out random colors to see what looks good. And then I take the acrylic and I just put small dots of each color next to each other to kind of see what different shades that I'm working with, to see what I like, what I don't like, what I want to keep, what I want to remove, and what I may potentially want to add as well. So I do recommend just taking a quick little 2 minutes with your client, talking to them, asking them what their favorite color is, if they like glitter, if they like rhinestones, if they like hand-painted art, are they doing like encapsulated designs, like what are they doing, what are their ideas, what kind of wardrobe do they have, just asking them the different probing questions. And then while you're talking to them, building that connection with them, asking them what they like and what they don't like, you can just real quick just take a quick little dab of all these different acrylic colors that you have, just to make sure that they all look good together. Make sure that your nudes look good, because sometimes a nude will look different in the jar than it will on the actual client's finger. So I like to put the nude on a paper towel and we look at that as well. And then I put the nude by the colors to make sure that it'll ombre nice, because some nudes are darker than other nudes, and to me they just don't look like ombre nudes, or they don't look like nudes that I would ombre or do like French tips with, they look more like brown, you know. And nude is kind of like a brown, but nude is more like a natural. It's kind of like a brown, but it's kind of like a pink as well versus just solid brown. So always test out the colors that you're going to be using for your nudes or your French tips or your ombres. Test those colors out on a paper towel beforehand, before your client, so that you'll know what looks good and what doesn't look good, because it's so embarrassing to just have an ombre that doesn't blend, or to have a nude acrylic that doesn't match your skin tone. So definitely take a look at those different things before, you know, you put the acrylic on the client's finger, because once you put that acrylic on, baby, it's on. Once you dip that nail of that brush and then you put it with that acrylic, once you do that monomer to that acrylic powder, that polymerizers, and once they get to doing all that polymerization and all of that bonding, heating up, all that good stuff going on, it's on, baby. It's on and popping. Your client, she watching you to make sure you know what you're doing. So you really want to know what you're doing. Like, don't fake it. Truly understand the process and truly know what you're doing. Okay, so as I always tell you guys when we get to this part, get your brush, get your acrylic, get your practice hand, get your hand, get your feet, get your mama's hands, your boyfriend's hands, your mama's sister's, baby daddy's cousin's hands. Get everybody's hands, dog, on it, and tell them, look, we're about to practice. This is a live look and learn. This is not live, y'all. This is pre-recorded. This is a pre-recorded look and learn, baby. Watch, practice along, and perfect your skills. That's exactly what this is for. That's exactly why I leave it in kind of real time. Now, it is sped up a little bit, y'all, because this took like an hour and a half. So I did speed it up for content purposes, because that's a long video for people to be sitting there watching. Now, maybe in the future, I'll have like DVDs or classes available for those who want the full long hour and 30, hour and 45 minutes. If you want the full long thing, then maybe I'll have those available on like my website, where you can like purchase them or download them on your computer, and you'll have the full content. Or maybe we'll do like nail DVDs or nail CDs or something where you guys can get like the full content for those who actually do want it. But I sped this up. I sped this up because, yeah, I did. But what I didn't speed up is the directions and the instructions, because I still want you to practice. I still want you to get so good with your technique that you know it like the back of your hand. Like, even if your acrylic is not perfect when you lay it, maybe your shaping is not all that, maybe your you haven't got like the 3-beat method down, or whatever might be the case, whatever, that's fine. But get your technique down. Know the method. Know the steps. Know that we're going to prep the nail. We're going to apply the tips. We're going to etch the tips. We're going to dehydrate. We're going to prime. We're going to do the nail from the pinky to the thumb, and the thumb back to the pinky, to ensure that we don't miss anything. Know the steps really, really good. So that way, whatever challenge you are faced with, whatever nail set you want to do, whatever freestyle, whatever design, whatever anything that your client sits down in your chair and requests from you, you can sit down and you can look at it and say, okay, let me go back to the basics. I know that first I need to prep this nail. First, I need to push the eponychium back, and I need to remove that cuticle. Then I need to remove any type of dust and debris with maybe some alcohol, or have my client wash her hands. I wouldn't recommend washing your hands because you putting that moisture back in. So just use like some alcohol or something, girl. It's okay. It's okay. But anywho, know the process, because when you know the process, you can do it really well. You're not nervous. You're not shaking. You're not unsure what to do next. You have confidence in yourself, confidence in your skill, confidence in your product. You are knowledgeable about your product and the service that you provide. And your customer now has confidence in you, because they're watching you flow, and you are flowing effortlessly because you know exactly what is required. Something that I had truly been wanting to work on in my nail career and within myself, some of my own personal goals, is I wanted to be more comfortable with doing freestyle sets. So you're probably going to see me doing different designs on different fingers, just playing around with different designs, trying like random things. I might even do one design on one hand and then a different design on another hand, or one design on my foot, on one foot, and then a different design on another foot. But my goal is to get more comfortable doing freestyle sets. I have a lot of clients who are my age who like to get in my chair and say, do whatever, just do anything. And then I have to go through the process of asking them their probing questions. What kind of colors do you like? Do you like glitter? Do you like French tips? Do you like ombre? Do you like encapsulated designs? Do you like nail art? Like, what do you like? So that I can give you something that you would like. And then a lot of their time, they're like, oh, I like all colors. I like everything. Do anything. And then instead of me freezing up or getting frustrated with them because you do like something, there's things you don't like, and if I sit here and put anything on your nails and it's ugly, what you gonna say? But that's not the point. The point is I want to be able to come up with designs that people can genuinely like usually for my freestyles, it's a couple French tips, some ombre. We might do a stoned nail, an abstract nail, like some real simple, real basic stuff. But I want my freestyles to look just like that, to look like some freestyle art. We just got in there, we just did whatever, and this is how it came out, and it came out amazing. So that's what I've been working on. So when you see these nail tutorials, you could potentially see my designs all over the place, but in the end, at the final set, I want it to look like one big piece of art. So that's kind of what I'm going for. So whatever you're practicing on, drop it in the comments if you are practicing while watching this video, because I would love to hear about what you guys work on and what maybe designs you guys would like to see, or if there's anything that you guys may need help with recreating, let me know, because I want to be able to answer you all's questions and see, what it is that you're working on, what type of designs that your clients like. My clients, they're into bright art. So I do a lot of bright colors, a lot of greens, a lot of yellows, oranges. I don't really do like a lot of solid blacks or a lot of solid white, and I don't really do like a lot of solid designs, because my clients, they like to see almost what I can do. They almost challenge me, y'all. They don't want basic stuff. They don't want basic stuff. They want to see me get out there and create something. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that challenge. So whatever you're working on, or ask your clients, like, what kind of nails do you guys like? What kind of content do you guys like to see? What kind of nails do you guys like to do? And then, kind of tailor your freestyles towards your audience. I know that I have some clients who like hand-painted nail art. So I know that when I get out here and practice, I'm going to do a little hand-painted nail art just for my clients to see that and be like, ooh, I like that. I like that. So try different things that your clients can see, and then when they do ask for these different things, when they do ask for freestyles or different kind of nail art and things like that, you've practiced it. And even though you practiced it on yourself or you practiced it on your mannequin hand, whenever you're faced with doing that challenge again, it's not going to be unfamiliar to you because you practice it. You've gotten comfortable with it. So that's like exactly what I'm doing. Here I am ombreing 2 color acrylics, which is potentially a challenge if you don't ombre 2 color acrylics often, like many people don't really do. It's usually a nude and a color. Sometimes it's never 2 different colors. So things like that you don't really see on the norm, practice those things, because one day you just may have a client who might say, hey, can you ombre 2 colors together, like red and orange? And then you gonna say, you know what? I can ombre 2 separate colors together. I practiced that. Me and my nail tech, we got on YouTube and we practiced that. I can do that. Maybe don't say it like that to your client, because you're probably gonna scare them away and then they're gonna block you again. So, yeah, probably don't say it like that, y'all. They're gonna be like, girl, I asked you one question. Why are you talking to me like that? That goes into it as well, y'all. Other than knowing what you're doing, being knowledgeable and confident in yourself and your skills and your techniques, and other than not cutting your client, your tone, your attitude is also going to play a part. Oh, and while we're on this part of the video, let me show y'all this right quick. Sometimes that acrylic be bumpy. It be a little bumpy, it be a little lumpy. Okay? It happens, especially depending on what type of color acrylic you use, what you're doing with the color acrylic, as well as the temperature and mixing acrylic and monomer systems. Like there's a lot of reasons why your acrylic can be lumpy. Like, don't let that deter you from becoming the best nail tech that you are out here. Like, don't let that stop you from following your dreams and being the best that you can be. It's gonna be lumpy sometimes. It even happens to the pros, especially if you're like trying to hurry up and do something before a certain time frame, or you got a client that's rushing you, or anything. Sometimes the 3-beat method don't work out right and you still got to go add in 4 or 5 beats. Like, it's okay. Everything is not 1 beat perfect. Please don't let social media make you feel like you have to be perfect. Please don't let social media make you feel like your application has to be perfect. It should be. If it's not, that's something that you want to go back and practice. And to avoid having all those bumps and dips, you do want to start from the free edge, and you do want to get your liquid to powder ratio down to the point where it's not causing any type of inconsistencies in your application. There are things that you do want to do to ensure that you do get in the smooth acrylic club, because it's going to help you in the end. However, don't let that stop you from being an amazing nail tech. As you can see right here, there are some spaces that need to be filed. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to file them. We're just going to file them. Because sometimes when using color acrylic, it is a little harder. And then I also just recently learned that acrylic expires. So there could be that. You could be using an older acrylic. Or sometimes color acrylic just don't want to act right sometimes. Nude acrylic, you can flow that. That flows like butter more times than it doesn't. However, color acrylic can be a headache, but please do not let that stop you from following your dreams and perfecting your skill, perfecting your craft. You find an acrylic system that you're good with, change your powders out maybe every couple years if you're running low, if you notice you had them for a long time and they just try to get your customers to use those colors that you don't really use like that, so that product is not going to waste. Or even find a nail tech to donate that product to, a beginner nail tech or somebody. If you're planning on investing in new or fresher acrylic, that's fine. You definitely don't have to have product go to waste, but it's okay. You don't want to have a nail that's lumpy and then you're just like, oh my god, I suck at this. Like, don't even talk to yourself like that. Don't even say that to yourself. And the minute you show that doubt in yourself and your faith and in your skill and in your confidence, all that is going to go directly to your client. It's going to scream to your client, and your client's going to know. Oh, child, sorry, y'all. Let me pull myself back together. Whew. Anyways, even if you think your client don't know that you sweating, your client can feel that energy. So don't overthink it. Don't stop yourself. You always know that you can get that e-file and you can get that coarse bit, honey, and you can go on file it off and go on get it back nice and smooth. Hit it with that buffer a couple times and you are good to go. But the minute you start crying and doubting yourself, that's going to have a more negative effect than some bumpy acrylic. I guarantee you that. Now, as you see, I'm clear capping this, honey, because that color acrylic gave me a hard time. I'm not afraid to say that. My ombre, I do like to clear cap my ombre because I like to protect that design. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going in and clear capping all of my designs. One thing I noticed that when you clear cap your ombre, it looks so much better than just leaving it plain. Like to me, it just looks like the final finished design. Like some people don't clear cap their ombre, and to me, I just think it looks like all together better. And then when you clear cap it, it also allows you to go in and maybe fix any dents that may still be in the color acrylic, or make sure the nail is nice and leveled out. And your clear acrylic should flow like butter. honestly. And if your clear acrylic doesn't flow light better, throw it out and find you one that flows light better, because you don't want to be having a hard time with no clear acrylic. Clear acrylic is like the basic of the basic. It's the first thing that you kind of work with when you're first learning how to do nails. So if your clear acrylic is not a good acrylic, invest in a good clear acrylic, because that is going to save your life. Like when I tell you, you can do a real quick clear acrylic set with some gel polish and call it a day and it still look phenomenal. Get you some clear acrylic that flows like butter. Yo, color acrylic, you can kind of play around with that. You might find a brand that's not really good brand, but you like that color, and so you just kind of paint on the color acrylic, and then you encapsulate it in some good clear acrylic, and your clear acrylic is where you're building like the apex and the good structure and foundation of the nail. But you definitely should clear cap, or you definitely should find a good color acrylic. Absolutely, like 110% of the way. I'm sorry, y'all, not color acrylic, clear acrylic. Find you a good clear acrylic to work with, because that is going to for real help you. Oh, this is exactly what I was talking about, y'all, when I was saying use your pinky to support the nail. Do you see where my pinky is? Do you see how I'm holding the e-file, and then you see exactly where my pinky is? Use that pinky to hold the nail. That is going to allow you to provide safety. It's going to allow you to have security. You see how my e-file can't do that little crazy spinny thingy where it spins all across the nail, because my pinky is secured. I'm not going to cut this client, which is myself. This area that I'm working in, I'm not going to cut that area. Why? Because I'm using my pinky to push that skin back and to support it. Use your pinky to support that nail. Use that pinky to assist you with ensuring that that nail is protected, and ensuring that you have the hand control that you need to support that finger there. I'm using my e-file to shape this nail simply because duck nails, you really don't want to file the sides inward or straight in, because it causes the nail to turn into a taper square. You then file away the entire everything that you had just been working on. So don't just take your don't just take your file and start filing straight. Find the angle that you need to have a good straight desired shape that you're looking for. And when you do duck shape nails, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because it's not where you just file straight up and down. Like, you got to angle it a little bit, because you don't want to cut your client, and two, you don't want to take away from the nice crisp duck shape that you're achieving. You don't want to take your hand file and then be filing it so much, and then you look at the thing and then you're like, what? I thought this was a duck nail, but this done turned into a taper square, because you done sat there and you done over filed that nail in an angle that wasn't good for the duck nails. So be mindful of how you're holding your nail file and how much you're filing when you're doing your duck nails. And then another pro tip, whoop-de-whoop-de, if you are patting in your sidewalls when you're going in to lay your acrylic, if you're patting in your sidewall so that acrylic's not running over the side of the nail itself is going to take on the shape of the nail tip. All you got to do is control the acrylic. That's it. That's all you're doing. You're going to put that acrylic on that nail, and you're going to control where it flows. You're going to make sure it's not flooding your cuticle. You're going to make sure it's not running all over the sidewalls. But as long as it's not running all over the sidewalls or flooding your cuticle, when you go in to file that nail, you're not going to have no problems. And see, this is exactly why I tell you to clear cap your ombre. Because when you clear cap your ombre, it protects the design. So when you go into file, you don't file away any of that ombre. And then when you clear cap it, it also kind of makes it more of a transition, a smooth transition versus two separate colors. It blends it in a lot better. So now I'm going in with my file. Like I said, you want to be careful at the angle that you're holding it at, because you don't want to take away from the shape that it is that you're trying to achieve. So be mindful of that as well. And y'all, I was very satisfied with this set. Like, when I tell you I'm probably going to be doing duck shaped short nails for all of my short sets for myself, that's probably what it's going to be, because I just enjoyed the shape. I enjoyed how short they were, but they were still kind of a little long. They still kind of flared out, so it still gave me that tappity tap satisfying feeling that I just love when I have my nails done. So I'm probably going to be doing this duck shape from now on when I'm doing short sets. Like, I still will revisit short sets. I'll still do them when I have clients who want short sets, but for me, on myself, I loved this so much. So now we are reaching some of the final steps of the video. You're going to see me going in and sealing my cuticles. I saw this post on Facebook, and then the technician, she was really good. She was a really good technician. Her application was damn near flawless. Like, it was so good. But one thing that she said that kind of stuck out to me was she does her application so well that she does not have to seal the cuticle. While I think that is totally amazing, I think that is so freaking good. Like, oh my gosh, not your application is so good. You never flood the cuticles so that you never really have to go in and seal the cuticles. However, seal your cuticle. Seal your cuticle. Because even if your application is so freaking amazing and so freaking uniform and great to the natural nail that it literally looks like you don't have to seal the cuticle, go in and still seal the cuticle. Like, I don't care if you use it with your sanding band. I don't care what you seal your cuticle with. That's between you and the Lord, honey. As long as you don't cut that client, nobody really cares. If you're using the 5-in-1, the sanding band, whatever, right? As long as you seal your cuticle. Because there are spaces between the nail and the nail bed that could potentially be there, or there could be spaces up under the eponychium. There could be a little acrylic that got up in there. You know, either way it goes, it could be something somewhere that's naked to the human eye. Or even if you have on glasses, like, it still could be somewhere that's naked to the human eye that you can't really see, that could potentially cause lifting or could cause, you know, some kind of nail disorder or anything like that. If greenies or, you know, any type of moisture or anything getting up in there if it's not sealed. So to save yourself the drama, seal your cuticle. Real quick swipe, real quick zoop right around the cuticle area. Even if your nails are that perfect, even if your application is that perfect, I still recommend sealing the cuticles, because y'all, you just don't want the drama. You don't want the drama of somebody calling you saying, my nail's lifted. You don't want the problems. And while your professionalism and your customer service skills can be on 10, drop dead amazing, absolutely, save yourself the time. Save yourself the time from having all this extra stuff going on. Like, no, save yourself the time. Just go ahead and seal your cuticles and buff them as well. Your acrylic could be so smooth and so flawless, and then you put that top coat on and it could reveal something that you had never seen before. So I do recommend sealing your cuticles. I do always recommend buffing your cuticles as well. Not just your cuticles, buffing your entire nail. I do recommend buffing your entire nail to ensure that everything is nice and smooth. Like, you don't want just parts nice and smooth that are smooth to the visible eye itself. I recommend buffing the entire nail, buffing the entire, area, because there, like I said, there's things or parts to the nail that could be invisible to your eye, but when somebody with glasses or when you put on your top coat, it's gonna show. One thing about it, when you put that gel on a nail, it's gonna show. It don't matter how good of a nail tech you is. That gel polish is going to tell on you. So, what you can do, seal your cuticles, 1, always. 2, buff the nail, right? Always want to buff your nail. And 3, float your gel polish. Don't paint it on, float it on. If you are unfamiliar with that term, check out Young Nails when they apply gel polish. That's probably the best way I can describe it, because they have really good in-depth tutorials on how to float your gel. Float your gel. So that way the gel itself is kind of on top of the nail, and it's providing an extra layer of filler. if there's any dips or dents or anything in your acrylic, when you float that gel polish on a little thicker, it's going to allow that gel polish to seep into any dents or scratches or scrapes or anything that you have within the nail and fix it. So float your gel polish. Use a thicker gel polish and float it on for that extra level of security that's potentially naked to the naked eye. And so now I'm applying this beautiful OPI top coat. I love it. It looks so good. I used a hard gel to apply my stones here. I always do. I never use glue because glue always comes off. Like, it always has problems, but I always hear people say that when they use gel, they never have any problems. So I always use a gel to add my stones, and I'm going in with my OPI shiny top coat because I love it oh so much. It's so beautiful. And this is the end of the nail tutorial. So I do recommend that you follow along with your own supplies and you try to practice along to get your own techniques down, because yes, you can sit here and watch the professionals all day, but if you don't actually physically practice along, then you can only get really but so far. So I do recommend practicing along to see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're going to be posting a lot of content about nails and everything in our beauty business. Here we've got some good products and things, some wholesaler products that we're going to be adding to the website. We also have a new 2023 to 2024 16-month planner and journal out. It's called the Glam Boss Workbook, and it is so amazing. It's full of mind-up activities to keep you inspired, motivated, and organized, and I do encourage you all to get those as well, because it's going to help you to keep track of your goals and your dreams and your desires, and allow you to also do those healthy affirmation activities to keep your mind, body, and soul centered as well. And this is the final look. I just love them so much. This is me pulling them out of the light so you guys can get a really good glimpse at what the style looks like. I really outdid myself with these. I would really think that if a client had booked me for a freestyle and these were the colors, I think it would come out great. So that always makes me happy. Be sure to apply your cuticle oil daily. Tell your clients to apply their cuticle oil daily for longevity and flexibility within your nails. And like I said, be sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, comment, share with your friends. Don't gatekeep. Share with your homegirls, because it's enough nails to go around. We can do this together, and I will see you guys next time for the next nail tutorial. Bye.